like with kids that are having challenges in home, that have challenges like with their living situation, and that they're going through they're experiencing some level of trauma every day. Like how do you combat that? Like how do you even begin?
What's up, gang? This is Fight the Funk podcast. This is episode 36, man. We are ripping through these episodes. This is podcast is about mental health. 2021 in your headphones still have a wire. I don't know what that means, Phil. 2021 in your headphones still have a wire. I think I'm turning that into like a lyric or something. But this is Fight the Funk podcast. And man, I just want to talk about the whole voting process because it's kind of ridiculous, man. Like I've actually worked the phone lines. Hold on, I actually worked the phone lines, and shit. And these headphones are actually not new. I'm actually just using them, man. Like they've been all dusty, and I was like, let me actually use this stuff. And I guess it's sometimes you gotta remind yourself, like, oh, I have shit. Like let me dust this stuff off and try to put this stuff together. So I'm glad you enjoy the headphones. That's what I'm assuming. And yeah, man, it's another year, 2021, and we are making headway and making moves. And I want to encourage everybody to look up the conversation I had this morning with Mike Yates. He's a teacher, a child of a teacher. The dude is out the box thinker. I love people that think out the box, man, because it's not about just doing the shit that you've always done over and over again, even though you know it's not working. So I appreciate people that are brave and they try different things because it's hard to embarrass yourself and it's hard to look stupid. I think that's the number one thing, especially with people of color. Like we don't like looking stupid for nothing. We will stay in our little we'll clam up, and it's like if it's risking looking stupid, like forget it. So I think that takes a lot of bravery, man, to really be like, you know what, I might fail, I might look stupid, I might look ridiculous, but I'm gonna wear these high water pants, and I'm gonna say I love high water pants, and my friends just gonna have to adjust. Like, that's just what's gonna be like. But yeah, check out the interview, the conversation I did this morning with Mike Yates. He's an educator. He works at Reinvention Lab. I don't even know what that is. I want to show up one day and just be like, what is this Reinvention Lab, Mike? Mike, what is this? I know what it is. It's reinventing the education system. And he's a two-time TED Talk speaker. So look up some of his TED Talks on YouTube as well. And he's also going to be trying to teach teachers how to brand themselves, like create a brand name for yourself. Like, I think that's dope, man. I had a teacher in way back, like in fifth grade, Martin Luther King Elementary School. Her name was Miss Bone, and she was a badass. Like, you didn't fuck with her. You didn't like she said timetables, and you was like, all right, timetables. And it's like, to me, it's like you start creating these really standout teachers, like and give them a platform. I feel like they can make some headway, as well as I feel like the challenge though is where the great teachers, like it's always been, where they just don't it's not just learn on black and brown people and then go to the rich schools. It's like that for hospitals too. Like you go to the clinics, like the poor clinics, and you just practice on poor people. And then once you learn how to draw blood, you learn how to do basic procedures, and then you use poor people bodies to do that. Then you go to the rich hospitals. It's like, yo, let's keep that. Let's keep the talent. Like this make sure this talent is in the communities that need it most, that are fighting different kind of health risk constantly. And it's just something to be aware of, like as these new these ways of being are changing. Like yeah, get these dope teachers and build their platforms. Like let's make sure they're taking care of kids who don't have resources, who don't have the tablets, who don't have the laptops, who probably are in neighborhoods where they still don't have Wi-Fi. Like we think all of America has Wi-Fi. Not true. Not true at all. So like depending on where you live, you might be in one of those spots where it's like, dog, I'm candlelight, I'm candlelighting it right now. So yeah, man, it's just you want to be cautious. It's not cautious, but just be aware of just because it's people are is ingenuity and discovery and invention is like a lot of that discovery and invention just gets raped and pillaged and taken to for and just taken right to the it doesn't help the people that it was created for. It's like some George Washington Carver stuff where it's like he created all this stuff, but he didn't get all the patents that he should have had for all the stuff he created. It's that kind of situation. And with Georgia, man, I got a lot of thoughts with Georgia. Like I made some calls. I tried to do my part, man. Didn't do much, but I did a little something. And one of these dudes, they was like, "I'm the president." I was like, you serious, man? You the president?" And it sounded like I was like, "All right, well, if you the president, cool, man. Well, are you voting though? Like, what's the deal? Like you shouldn't be on this phone line if you are the president. Like, isn't that illegal?" Um, that's interesting, man. It's like just because you when you talking to people on the phone lines, it's like one dude went to the bathroom, was like started peeing in the toilet. I'm like, motherfucker, like he's like, yeah, man, I just yeah, and you could tell he's full of it. It's like that's the kind of things people working phone lines and trying to get people to vote. Is like that's the kind of stuff they go through where it's like, hey man, I'm just telling people to vote and telling them their information and how they can do it and what they need to do. Like I don't need all the negative garbage that like you vote, you tell your people to vote, like whatever. It's like there's no need for I'm gonna take my phone and disrespect and pee while you on the phone. It's like, come on, dog, really? That's what you're doing? That's what you gonna pee while a person's on the phones and just to make a point? Like I get it. You don't have to vote for you vote for who you want to vote for. That's fine. I don't need to hear you pee. And it's interesting that the dude that was like if it was 45, there's like what are you doing, man? I hope I swear to God, like I hope if when this goes up on my podcast, um, so I was working the phones calling for Georgia, telling them I believe in Warnock and Ossoff. I might not get his name right, but I believe in those two over these other two corporate bought politicians. Um, and it's like, so if it was the president, it's like in my head, I'm like, dude, you ain't right. You ain't right in the head if you found your way to splice in and get on a call-in service to say how outrageous things are. And it's like, what are you doing? You the president, dog. Like what are you doing? I won't go into what this man was saying, but it's like at one point I was like, dude, I don't like you're not scaring me, man. Like what are you talking about? Like I've been through way too much shit to be scared of you and then I'm gonna bring down all of government on you. Is like what are you talking about, man? What are you like? So you shouldn't be on this phone line because you're not supposed to be voting in Georgia. So why are you on this phone line anyway? So it's interesting when you start doing like to work and you making calls and you listen to what people say. Because I also feel for people that have to listen to all this garbage, man. Like and when I say garbage, I just mean the clutter. Like we so our election cycle is so built on just overwhelming people. Like that's how you win. It's like, yo, um, I'm gonna overwhelm people until you just go numb. And like I don't care who. Like I got a few people that are like I don't give a f. Like who who's running for election. If one more person calls me, I'm losing it. And it's like that's our election. See, that's how we run elections, man. It's like that's so archaic where we just and it's not our it's like that works for people that if you're trying to usher in change, if you're trying to get real candidates and real progressives in office, is like you have the percentage that's going to vote for who they're going to vote for, and that's fine, right? Then you have that like that bell curve where it's like you have the 10% is going to vote for who they're going to vote for, the other 10% is who will vote for who they're going to vote for, and then you have that middle, and it's like in that middle, it's like they just want to hear like, all right, what's the issues? All right, what's the okay? Are we talking about universal health care? Nah, I ain't with it. Or universal health care, I'm with it. All right, well, we'll break it down. What's your take on universal health care? Okay, well, how are we gonna do that? All right, and it's like if it's just our system is so built on people can't win straight up. Like it's not real democracy. It's like you gotta muddy up the waters because if it's clear, if people can just see, then it's like, oh, you full of man, I can't vote for this. Um, like Loeffler, like if it was just, I feel like every election should be capped. Like it should just be where it's like you get three debates and each and then you do three town halls and where you got to actually talk to people and hear what they thinking and hear and if you done foul stuff while you were in office, you gotta talk about it. You can't just weasel out of it. And there's like, and for the phone calls, man, like that should be capped, man. It's like you should only these and I'm everybody's guilty because we're all in the same system. Like we're all under the same we've learned how to do democracy this way. Whereas like every election season, we just infiltrate and send blast and overwhelm people. It's like if you're a good candidate, a really like, yo, I'm just about the people, man. It's like you're almost forced to do the things you don't want to do. Like you're almost forced to and when I say don't want to, I don't mean like the shady shit, but you're forced to just the marketing, the amount of flyers, the amount of ads you got to put out there, the amount of phone calls, the amount of text messages. And it's like we're so wired to just overwhelm each other. Like I'm okay. I'm going against this person. I know they're full of shit, but they got so much money, and they're going to smear. They have no sense of decency. It's like they're going to hit me with everything they got. So if I don't match that energy to some degree, then that money just going to run me over. So it sucks because like people that really wouldn't approach running for office like that are forced to match that energy to some degree, where it's like if you don't come with it, like if you don't come with the ads, come with some level of the phone banks and the text messages, is like, but then nobody wants to, it pushes people away from democracy. So it's hard to it's hard for people to really be like we don't have a clean democracy, and it's for a reason, because it's like you need people confused, you need people overwhelmed, and that's another thing is I heard some I heard something about Biden or something said this election, Georgia election, comes down, the stimulus, the $2,000 stimulus comes down to these two seats. And in my head, I was like, for my own personal standpoint, um, no, it doesn't. Like it shouldn't even come down. I want the best for Georgia. I want the best for the country. If Georgia can pull out the win, get I always mess up his name, man. Ass off, ass off. But Warnock and Ossoff, they can get those two in. It's like we're healthier. We're in a healthier position to do some things for the people, and some more important things for the people. But I also don't want to let the new administration off the hook already. Where it's like, well, we said if Georgia didn't win and if you didn't get ass off and hi man, I'm messing up his name, man. If you didn't get the two candidates in, then we can't do anything. Our hands are tied. It's like that's the framework people better rebel against. Like you cannot have that be the framework going into this new administration. It's like that's where it's like I feel like the people are just in that habitual abusive relationship where it's like that statement should never come out. It's like, yo, we want Georgia. We hope as for what we can accomplish as with our party, that we can pick up those two seats, and then we will see to it, and we'll continue to see to it that the people get the funds and the resources they need to get back on their feet, and they have a healthy living situation and get their environments back together, while this vaccine is ushered out in stages. The essential workers to you got the people that are working, like the bus drivers, the whatnots. It's like the people that are working with a lot of different people every day. Is like, I don't want to hear if Georgia doesn't come through, because Georgia's exhausted. Georgia's worked their ass. So everybody in Georgia's like, I don't give a. I'm done. I'm done with democracy. It's like that's our like it's not healthy, man. Like the way we approach democracy is not healthy, because it can't be healthy, because if it's healthy, then the people that wanna that's desperate to continue to cling on to power, they have no chance. So like if Georgia was a clean fight, and it was just about like you get, like we saw Loeffler in that debate, and it's like, dog, she ain't real. She ain't about nobody. She ain't about no people. And it's like she's literally standing up there with pockets of money holding her up. Like that's literally the only thing was keeping her on that podium that day. Um, and so it's our democracy can't be healthy because real candidates would just like sweep. It would be sweeps, man. It's like a NBA playoff. It's like they wouldn't win. So they have to. It has to be dirty. It has to be muddy. It has to be confusing. Like it has to be. Like it can't just be three debates, town hall. The money is capped. No candidate gets more than 500,000 that they can get from they can raise or have private parties raise is capped. So every candidate only has 500,000 to work with. They can put that money into ads. They can put that money into building phone banks, text messages. They can build that money into just canvas and paying people to do canvassing, but it's capped. It's 500,000 or whatever the adjustments that would be made. But it's like like this the way we approach democracies is not healthy, man. Like I was on the phone and I'm just upset, feeling them being upset because I'm like, yeah, we shouldn't be doing this. One dude was like, man, I told y'all not to call me. I'm sick of it, and I'm not voting for nobody. And in my head, like that's democracy right there. Like we've created this way of doing this dance that's not healthy for nobody. Like not healthy for the people on the phone, not healthy for people getting a call. And it only leads to candidates that shouldn't be even in the game, like having chances to win. And it's like, and none of us are better for it. None of us are better for the way we do this. We just get burned out. We still don't get the resources that we're looking for, and the people that shouldn't be in power stay in power. And it's very tactical, man. It's like the little verbiage, just like hearing today. I don't even know where it came from. I don't know where it was sent, but wherever it came from, it was like just hearing Biden, that little phrase, that little flip phrase of stimulus checks depend on those two seats. It just felt like dirty to me. It felt manipulative. It's like, come on, dog, really? Like they tired. They done with this, man. They just want resources. They trying to help out their farm peoples. It's like, dog, you plan that you already, and that's where it's like, oh man, this is a click. Like you if you wear a blue tie or red tie, it's still a click. Um, and then it's still little like projections ahead. Like, all right, I'm gonna say this because if I say it now, as far as like, hey, y'all get the two seats, you get two G's. If you don't, then I don't. My hands are tied. It's like you already curbed your whole thing. Whereas like you can blame the reason why you're not fighting for more resources on the fact that Georgia didn't come through, and it's like you can't put that all on Georgia, man. So if you really about all your promises, all the bullshit, like, and it's not, if you really want to make sure it's not bullshit and don't come off as bullshit, it's like you gonna fight just as hard for that stimulus and come with it, and you and hold Mitch McConnell accountable. Like I don't give a fuck about like not wanting nobody to. I don't want to embarrass my colleagues. Like you represent the people, man. You embarrass. We're adults. Like, what kind of statement is that? I don't want to embarrass my colleagues. And that was off an article on the Hill, where he said he didn't want to embarrass his colleagues, his Republican colleagues. No, like, man, who, you're their boss now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is that whole, just the idea, that thought, the way the thinking pattern of, it's like you hold them to task. Like, you go at them. Like they need to, it's like if the people want, like, hey, we all voted for this. Hey, this is what the general consensus of the public is voting for, and they're pulling for. It's like, wouldn't you fight for them? You're not fighting to be in the peer group, the most liked of you in the group. It's like I got to be the most liked. Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, what is that? I don't want to. I don't want to make him. I don't want to embarrass him. Like we all get embarrassed. Like we like work for your people. Like the idea of. I don't think that those two seats shouldn't be a deciding factor on how hard people are going to go at the GOP that has taken us through this horrible year, where we all learned some stuff. We all learned a lot about ourselves, and there's some positive that's come out of it. But we also learned how dysfunctional our government is, and I don't think in Georgia, take Georgia out of the equation. Is like, yo, we staring at a dysfunctional government. Period. Is like the what happens in Georgia is still, it's like we have a Senate leader that shouldn't be a Senate leader. He shouldn't be leading us forward. And that has, and it's like there should be a what am I trying to say? It reminds me of government is practice, medical is practice, law is practice, and that's how people can vote for everything and do everything the right way. Um, and at the end of the day, it's like you still need the people in the key positions to actually practice government. Um, and that's where it's like, just like the stimulus would have been 2000, because you have the president, the current sitting president, 45, who it would be weird if that was really the person I was talking to. Probably was. I wouldn't put it past him, which is would be very weird and very telling as far as his state of health. Um, but it's like you have the sitting president who's like, yeah, 2000, man, makes sense. A lot of the GOP, whether it was theatrics or not, a lot of them was like, yeah, 2000 makes sense. Democratic Party, yeah, 2000 makes sense. So it's like, so that's where you realize, like, oh, government is a practice. Like, all it takes is somebody not being happy and they're in a key position of power, and they just won't practice government. They just won't do the thing. It's like yo, here all your people, and you don't have to do it. And that's part of it where people don't. The part that's disturbing about our institutions, government, our medical field, our law enforcement is like when people are unhappy, and they don't feel like they're getting their way, and it's usually the people that are already in power. They just don't have to practice the very thing they're sworn to do anymore. Like and it's like, how do you as American public, is like, you see it, but it's like, hey man, practice. You still got to practice the law. I know you're not happy with the result, but you still got to do the thing you were sworn in to do. You swore, and that's where it's the human part of it, where it's like this don't matter, man. They can swear in and say, I will uphold and I will do my due diligence and I'll be honorable and honest, and whatever they got to say to get that seat, to hold that position, to wear that badge, whatever they got to do. And once they get it, it's like not too many people will actually uphold the oath. And it's like, so the good faith thing that is so crucial to government, is so crucial to medical field, is so crucial to law enforcement, man, is like, if you don't have people that upholds their oath, it's like, then that's when Black Lives Matter marches first started, I would hear wackiness of, it's going to be anarchy. Like, and it was so zany to me. It's like, dog, we not, it's just regular people trying to get people to stop dying. It's like, what are you talking about? Anarchy. Like, they're angry. It's rage. There's a lot of rage and there's a lot of anger, definitely. But nobody's trying to not have, like, people got house payments, people got school the next day. It's like, what are you talking about? So it is a sense of the disturbing part. What to me was anarchy is people not holding the oath that they went into office with. Like for Mitch McConnell, the Mitch man, the dude, that person, which I saw a funny ass video of what do you say, gobble neck Mitch or something. Video is hilarious this morning on Instagram. But it's that's this kind of stuff that's, to me, that's anarchy. It's like where you got a person and everybody is like, yo, the people need this. The people need 2000. Like, let's do this. It's not even a big thing. Like, if we think about $2,000 after 9 months or 8 months of waiting, it's like that's actually not a big thing. It's like, it's actually not really that, like, oh man, whatever. And it's like to not be like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do it. It's like, that's an anarchist move, man. You are taking the whole. You are obstruction, like, of democracy. That's an obstructionist. Like, you are obstruction of democracy, and you're not upholding your oath. You're that good faith. You're not actually part of that good faith. You're on the opposite side of that. And that's, to me, it's like so much of the work is just holding people to a higher standard that we've gotten accustomed to. It's like it's a like, dude, like the kid that got tackled by the lady where she thought it was her, she swore 100% it was her phone, and she behaved like, even if it was her phone, it's like, why you're tackling a kid? Like you have the, if it's your phone, then there's a way to do that. And then it wasn't your phone. It's like, now you're just a awful person that is attacking the actual kid, tackling the dude like she was a fucking linebacker. She was Ray Lewis on him. It's like, just people being able to hold each other to a higher standard, man. Like, if you tackle a kid, charges are pressed against you. Just not even thinking about it. Like, what, you tackled a kid? Yeah, of course you're going to jail. Or whatever charges that the father and the mother want to pursue. But it's like, yeah, of course you tackle the kid. Like, there's no wiggling. There's no getting out of that. It's like, and no matter what the charges are, like, say you got to pay a $5,000 fine, and it's probably gonna be a slap on the wrist anyway. It's like $5,000 fine, community service for like 6 months, whatever, slap on the wrist, and you were guilty. It's like, that's just a basic standard of holding somebody accountable. Of like, you did this, A, and now B happens. And now C, you get out in due time, or you serve your community service, pay your $5,000 fine, and then you move on to life. You say, man, I did mess up. I lost my mind that moment. I apologize to that kid and his family, and you keep it moving. It's like, those are the standards that aren't kept universally. And it's like, that's the thing where people are trying their hardest to, like, yo, we all need to be held to the same standards. Like, if I tackle some kid, I should be locked up. Like, I should be, like, people should press charges. Like, whatever you do, no matter what the color of your skin is, like, you should be held accountable for what you did. The officer that got let off in Minnesota, I don't remember his name. But it's just as disturbing, where it's like, dude, this dude, how you shot somebody 7 times in the back, man. Like, where's the standard at? It's a standard to that. And that's where I feel like there's so much more of the work is. The work is left to do is just the basic standard of holding people accountable for their actions. I don't know how I got to that point, but if we are transitioning, I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Dre, man. Like, suffered a brain aneurysm. Like, we don't need no scares, bruh. We don't need no scares, man. Come on, dog. Like, I looked up, I was like, oh no, like, man. So glad he recuperating. The one of the icons of just art in general. To Dre Day, man. Glad he recuperating. And reminding ourselves, like if people have been through a lot this past year, and it's important to take care of yourself, like, and especially if you a Georgian and you go into back-to-back elections, like, that's a lot, man. That is a lot. Now, I hope there's a push by this incoming administration to get money out of, not hope. There needs to be a push by this administration, by people. Like, money needs to be out of, like, so much of this. Like, get the money, man. Get the money out of the election cycles. And that, and I know it's not. There's not a. It's not beneficial. Like, if you want to keep power, it's not beneficial to take the money out. Like, nobody, democracy, no people, the people that are running shit, like, you don't want a level playing field. Like, that's why Stacey Abrams had to fight so hard to battle voter suppression, gerrymandering. It's like, level playing field is not fun for people that has never lost and that don't know how to lose. Like, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Yeah, that's people that want to rig the deck. All I'll do is rig the deck, no matter what. Got money on my mind. I can never get enough. Like, we make their music for them. Like the people that are being put in office, like, that's what they live by. And then the effects are people being homeless and houseless, no universal health care. It's like that's the cost of all I do is win, win, no matter what. I got money on my mind. I can never get enough. Yet we're living that. That's all last year. Like, last year is the example of when that's the model, and there's a crisis. That motto doesn't change up. It's like the motto is still holds, and people suffer for it. It's like to push back on the idea of it all comes down to Georgia, because I feel like so many people have worked their asses off and given it everything they got, that they shouldn't be put in that position where it's like, it all comes down to you, Georgia. It's like, nah, man, they put it down. Like, they won no matter what. Like, they busted their ass. They bonded. They learned. They taught each other. They grew. And it's a dog fight, and they giving it everything they got. It's like, that is the win. That is the fight. It's like, if you played sports long enough and you gave it everything you got, yeah, you don't want to lose. Fuck that. You fought for it, but you're not going to put so much on it where it's like you can't see past the election. You can't see past this moment. And I got good feelings, but it's like, we all feel how we feel. But it's like, regardless, man, is bigger than this one election. And you give your best out to Georgia and all the fight that the people that's been in dog fights from day one, man, back-to-back elections. I don't think people understand how hard that is, how draining that is, how exhausting that is, from people that got to hear it on the phone, got to see all the ads. Like, that's mind-numbing, man. It makes people tune out, which helps people that just want to keep things to not change for the better. So it's like, it's bigger than this one election, man. It's the fight as far as for universal health care, for resources, for building up small businesses and breaking people out of this student debt. Just debt alone, I'm wondering, like, day one, how hard this incoming administration really tackles the debt cycles. Like, our country doesn't even deal with debt cycles well, but now it's going to be pretending like that's what happens. Is you try to tie up as much money as possible into the Pentagon, and all the different the Space Force. Tie all that money up and just be like, hey, we sorry, man, but we ain't got it. We can't let the national debt go up higher. We gotta conserve. That's when it becomes conservative. We gotta conserve. It's like, dog, then let's repeal that tax bill from like 3 years ago, because that's not helping nobody that needs it, that should be helped by it. The tax is only going up. like because of that tax bill for the working class. Um, so it's like that's gonna be the regular rhetoric that comes out moving forward, where it's like, yo, we got it. We can't let the our deficit. We can't let that get up. Like we just coming from pandemic. We have no funds. It's like really, really, and that's where we're at right now. Where it's like, it to me that's the fight, and not getting so caught up that if these two seats we get them, we don't get them. If it goes red or it goes blue, if it's split, then we can't do. It's just gonna all be a wash. We can't do it. We can't like because nobody said that before we found out there was going to be a runoff in Georgia. Nobody was talking about we need those two seats, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what. If you uh, uh, um, I was going to say independent, but that's not real independent. If you're a non-member voter, um, it's like even if you're a non-member voter, nobody was talking about you need Georgia to make the thing work, to make this administration work. So I refuse to put that 4 years of what can be done on Georgia. That's bullshit. And it's like, and you got to hold people to higher standards. And this administration shouldn't be off the hook of what happens to Georgia, no matter how it plays out. It's like all the promises made is the people want to see promises kept. And to be hell bent on keeping those promises, to the Black community who helped get this administration put into office. And it's like promises need to be kept no matter what happens in Georgia. And to say the stimulus check comes down to Georgia, like, no, man, you just got to fight harder. Like that's what it comes down to. You got to go at McConnell twice as hard. If you don't, you're the leader. Like, and that's the thing where I feel like if you wearing the blue tie, is like whatever happens in Georgia is like it's like a job. It's like, oh man, the report got messed up. Well, like, nah, man, you gotta do an all-nighter. So same thing with this incoming administration. No matter what happens in Georgia, it's like if it's blue, if it's red, it's like you just got to work twice as hard to go up against Mitch McConnell, and to make sure this dude is and the people understand how woefully and how destructive this man has been to the American people. And it's like that. There's no cop out just because you don't get Georgia. Like that's not an excuse. And I've been ranting way longer than I had planned to. And thank God, Dr. Dre is recovering. I did not want to see that kind of shit. So I'm happy for that, grateful for that, and please check out episode 35 with Mike Yates, a teacher who thinks outside the box. The dude is, I love the way this dude thinks, man. It's dope, and I feel like people like that will continue to make the changes that make people's lives better from top to bottom. Like whether you where you live in your car right now, I feel you. Whether you in the Mission District where you homeless, you lost family members and you just like, man, I'm so tired, I'm so done, and you in that negative place, man. And you are you in that depressive spot, that place where you can't see people? Like we feel you, man. And it's like that's why like we fight for the people that fight for us, man. And that to me is like that keeps us going. Whereas like it's gonna be some bullshit. There's people that are just full of shit. They're disconnected from what people need. They're disconnected from the common man, common woman. And it's like, and identify those people, find people that are about that life, and keep, keep coming together, keep fighting together. And it's like this COVID, this too shall pass, and it sucks right now. It sucks. I fell into it. I was like, hey, you want to get some coffee today? And it was like, yeah, fuck COVID, man, shit. So it's like just the casual trying to hang out and be around people, be with people. It's like um, it's tough. It's tough, and you have moments where you're like, damn, man, this needs to be over right now. We all in it. So it's like we just gotta keep fighting, man. Keep moving forward, investing in each other, figuring out what's our passion, what's our purpose. Is like the things that gets us out of bed in the morning. And I know we all at various places in our life. Some of us are more in the joyous place. Some of us are more fortunate right now than others. Um, and some of us are in more darker places, man. But we all connected, and we're all getting affected by this on different levels. If we're not in that dark place right now, we were there before. So it's like we can all relate. And if we're in a joyous place, we passing that joy and putting that out there. And because this life is short, man, we blink and it's done. So it's like we gotta enjoy it. We gotta fight for people who are not able or have are being shortchanged on what they can do and what they people do plenty for themselves, and it's continuing to coach people and then like, hey, you keep going. Yeah, we all doing our thing. So it's like, so you also gotta, okay, you're doing that. Well, now fight against, fight for what the common person or the general public, fight for what would help us all um, have better opportunities for each other, so we can do the work we love. Um, and then to me, that's the whole purpose. Is like, yo, we push, we fight against what is. We reimagine for something better. Um, and it leads to a better environment, man. And that's another thing with the stimulus I don't think people are aware of, and why I was my personally so why I call this current administration, this Congress, um, as far as just being negligent, is like, when you think of how society works, like if you withhold funds, if you withhold resources, um, one of the things that's said is the I'm gonna get that the police force is the last stand between society and chaos, and to me is poverty, poverty and resources. Resources is that line, because like no matter how good and how great a police force is, or how communal a police force is, up and down the spectrum, it can be an actually healthy police force, but once those funds dry up, once those checks aren't coming, once that desperation starts hitting, once that rent starts hitting, once you're living in that car, once you're living on those streets, um, that to me is like, that's the mark of that is the line between society and chaos. So the longer so what's this whole year of funds being withheld from general society, is like, it plays into the actual law and order, the chaos, the extremism, or whatever you want to call what was broadcasted as, so you got to fear this thing. You see the marches, man, whatever that was. Is like, no, man. The real thing, the real line between civil society and a healthy society and chaos is resources. You cut the people off from resources, the stealing goes up, crime goes up, abuse goes up, um, homelessness goes up. So it's like you got all these ups, all these things that shoot up when people don't have resources. They get desperate. And it's like, to me, and that's the worst part of all this. The mental health issues go up, and that's the part where I feel like if people was more aware of that, they would be even more like, what is how did we get here where we have a government that would do this to their own people? And if you statistics where it's like, if you withhold resources, that the negative statistics shoot up always, man. The Great Depression, that's when I feel like just the suicide was first like kind of recognized as a thing, like where you have the Great Depression and you have the people jumping out of buildings, and it's like that's where it to me is like it's the resources, man. When people feel like they've lost their identity with their jobs, and then the unemployment, it's like you have like 5 different negative things that go up when resources are withheld from the people. And it's like, and then you have one person, not even one person, man. It's like this dude is more than just Mitch. It's more than just Pelosi. Like it's, I don't even know who I gotta research the Fracking brothers. But there's people, man. Like, I don't know who the disciples of the Koch brothers are, but it's like there's some very greedy people, man, that are in these ears of these politicians. And it's like, knowing they don't care. They don't care that if you withhold resources, that the worst parts of society, the ugliness of human nature. And I feel like the beautiful part is how hard people have been fighting to stay positive. And to me, that shows the strength of people, the strength of the people, where you gave us the worst hand. You took our cards, the resources that should have been there, weren't released, weren't given to the people, even though you had them to share with the people. You withheld that, and people were still bonded together. They still donated to charities. They still lent a hand. Essential workers battled. They've been battling this whole time, and I think if people that have been in like places like South Central during the riots, or Watts riots, Ferguson riots, is like, and I hate calling them riots because like that's a negative riots, black people riots, riot and looting, blah blah blah, and it's like those places, for years, no resources, no like hey, is anybody, are we gonna, or is our city local officials gonna help us rebuild these stores, some funding, something. Like the whole point, the whole social unrest, the social outrage was because we didn't have the funds, and we still don't have the funds. But it's like, and that's, to me, is like, so people of color have always known that the government can be so callous to its own people. And I think now it's like a national stage and a world stage where people realize, or people can see that, where it's like, oh shit, America doesn't take care of its own people. Like you know it, but when you see it, and when you see the numbers, I think the numbers are because you can find pockets, like you go outside and it's like, it looks great, it still looks cool, but you see the numbers and how many people have passed that didn't have to pass. The businesses that went that didn't have to go. It's like so yeah, this finally, the stimulus, the aid has finally come, months late, just months behind. It's like that has to change, man. It has to change. It's like how many Hurricane Katrinas, earthquake, whatever natural disasters, and it's just, the response is just poor. Like Puerto Rico, it's like these responses are just, it's sorry. And that's where I feel like our government is so mucked up. They so bogged down by corporate interests in their ear, just like, no, like they can't do anything. That's like they're tied up with money. They're tied down by money, and they've sold themselves out a long time ago. So and it's like, if everybody's dirty, it's kind of like what is that police, the untouchables. It's like you have it's untouchables in just a money way, where it's like there's only a handful of politicians that aren't bought off, that aren't just like, yo, I got these checks, I'm tied into these corporate interests, like my hands are tied. I gotta pretend like I can give you guys lip service, but I can't really do anything real because that would piss these guys off. I can't, like, when they throw a tantrum, it's awful. Like when the Koch brothers threw a tantrum, when rest Senator John McCain sold, but like, there was reports that John McCain, when he was running for president, that he was going to do a climate change. He had a part in his campaign about climate change, and these motherfuckers went ape shit. Like, you gonna talk about climate change? And they stormed up and started throwing their money around, and it was like, that better be off the ticket. And it was off the ticket because, like, you have somebody like Koch brothers who bought out the whole GOP, and it's like, that's too much power for two people to have, where you could buy out a whole GOP, a whole party, and have that much control, where you can tell a president running, or you can tell a person running for president what their platform will be, or what they should take off, or what they have to take off. Better yet, like to dictate, like, that needs to go, and have to do it, man, and then to be able to leverage everybody in Congress to be able to, like, put pressure on them. Two men, it's like, you shouldn't have that much. There shouldn't be that much power in by our government. It's like there's too much of influence by a few, and to me, it's like, that's where, no matter what happens in Georgia, it's like there's too much money in politics. Too many officials have gotten in office only to make a buck. They've gotten in office to make deals, lucrative deals, rather than take care of the people. And to me, that's the symbol. That's when I see Georgia, that's what I see. I see two candidates that are regular people, candidates. They're humans. They're running. They're going to fight for people. And then you see what we've gotten used to. You see people that are just bought out. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. And they just say what they got to say, and they know they got a bankroll behind them. All they got to do is just whatever they've been told to say it. Doesn't have to be great. Just say it. And then the bankroll behind them will take care of the rest. They'll smear, they'll muddy things up, they'll confuse people, they'll make people tune out, and then that's all that's needed. And then that gives them that gives them a chance. The fact that this whole election, those two seats are so close, is how far down the negative rabbit hole, like, our democracy has gone. Like, it shouldn't even be close. Like, they can't debate. They can't own up to anything they've done. All their information is out there. The trades they made during the pandemic. Their time in office is so it's like, it shouldn't even be close. It shouldn't be a close race. But because it is, that tells you how far we've gone in such a not healthy direction. And then, it's on a positive note, man. I'm like, if you look at the people, man, like, the fight and the camaraderie is like, that's what you build on. The fact that you have like 4 or 5 progressives that are actually for the people, and then you got a few. I don't know, man. It feels like a few Republicans that are like trying to do old school Republicans before the Dixiecrats flipped and went Republican, and that racist base of Republican buildup, like the foundation of the Dixiecrats and the legacy of the racist Dixiecrats jump into Republican, is like just feel like there's a few Republicans that's like, man, I'm gonna bring back the Republican the way before the Dixiecrats took it over, which was Civil Rights Bill, blah blah, history, whatever. You guys, yeah. But all that say, you just want money to be out of the government as much as possible, so people can just be people. Like you run on your merits, you run on what you're really about. Your record is your record, and it's like and people hold you to that record. Um, and we fight for the people that fight for us, man. And this has been Fight the Funk episode, exploring thoughts today, mental health, um, government, just the world around us. People stay safe, be well, and fight for the people who fight for you. This has been Fight the Funk podcast. I'm Magic with two A's, deuces. And drink some water.